In this problem, we're being asked to divide these two rational expressions. Well, dividing is just as simple as taking that second expression, that second fraction, and just finding the reciprocal, changing division to multiplication, and then writing the reciprocal of that second fraction. Now, the fun part comes with simplifying this thing, multiplying this out. But before we do that, anytime you see a bunch of polynomials or trinomials and you don't know what to do, your best bet is to just go in and just start factoring, because more often than not, that's what you're going to be asked to, that's what you're going to be required to do, is just factor. That's what we did in the previous chapter. So I'm just going to go through, and the first step when you're factoring is always look for a common factor. So if you look at the numerator in that first fraction, you'll notice that they all have a factor of 2. So I'm just going to go ahead and factor out that 2. And then as far as factoring these other polynomials, guys, it's just practice. You just have to go through and make sure that when you factor, make sure you check so that when you multiply your factors together again, you get the original polynomial. If you don't get the original polynomial, then you didn't factor it. So we'll factor the numerator, then we'll factor the denominator. We'll go to the second fraction, and we'll factor the numerator of the second fraction and the denominator. And then once you have everything factored, then you can just kind of go through and just start simplifying things. Remember, we're just crossing out common factors. So we'll notice that b minus 6, those factor, 3b plus 8, those will factor. And then we end up with whatever factors are left. 2 times the quantity b plus 2 times the quantity b minus 3. And you know what? I just noticed that I didn't factor that denominator in that first fraction correctly. That should be a 5, and that should be a minus 5. See, you got to go through and you got to multiply those factors together, and I noticed that the inside and the outside terms, when I multiplied those two together, they were supposed to give me negative 17, and it didn't. So for my factors in the denominator, I have 2b minus 5 and 5b plus 1.